And very good morning, actually, and welcome to the Cheltenham Day 3 preview with myself, David Massey, for the Daily Punt. I say good morning because it is Wednesday morning as I'm doing the video. We're now into a very busy part of the week for me. I'm recording this just before I go to Huntingdon a bit later on today, and then tomorrow I've got some work, doing some private work tomorrow for some guys in Burton-on-Trent, and then Friday is going to be Cheltenham, and then Saturday will be Uttoxeter Midlands Grand National Day. I'm going to be working for the rest of the week, really, effectively, as well as doing the writing then, so a busy time for me now. So I thought I'd get the video up nice and early here, and then I'll put it up tonight when I get back from Huntingdon. I've already done the card for Thursday anyway. We know pretty much what the ground is going to be like. We know the runners. Thank you, 48-hour declarations. Why can't we have those? Why can't we have these all the time? It does make life so much easier if you've got 48-hour declarations. Without them, I'd be completely lost this week, I really have to say. So we don't know how we're doing on Wednesday selections. We've got no idea. We've got a few hours yet before the first one even runs, so we'll crack straight on with Thursday. And the JLT, first race on the card. Good little race, this. I do like this race. Interestingly, there's not one what you would call genuine hold-up horse in the race. Everything likes to sort of race prominently or sort of midfield. So this is going to be run. This is going to be run pretty quick, I think, and jumping. I know it's a stupid thing to say because jumping is a key factor in any jumps race. You've got to jump well, but even more so here, I think you've got to be absolutely on point with your jumping. With that, I think the two that make the most appeal, certainly Lost in Translation does. I will be very disappointed if he can't go close here. I think he'll reverse form with Defi de Soy from Sandown. I think this track just suits him that little bit better. I think going left-handed suits him a little bit better, to be perfectly honest. He's very nearly, in terms of looks, the perfect jump horse for me. He's got just the right amount of length to him. He's got a right engine at the back, beautiful neck and head, very strong. I absolutely adore this horse, I have to say, in terms of physical looks. Every time I see him, he just impresses me more and more. His form this season, as we said, has been very good. Really, he's been mixing it with the top ones throughout. I think this is the right race for him, rather this than the Oracle, I think. And I just can't help but think he'll go close tomorrow. He'll probably take a lead, I think, off Vodarev, who likes to go out there and lead. Lost in Translation himself doesn't have to lead. He has led in his races, but he doesn't have to lead. So I think, given that, I'll be happy just to sit in behind the Mullins horse and try and get there late. And the other one that's interesting is Capeland. Now, I did a preview last week for a few guys in Birmingham and mentioned Capeland. I thought it was a moderately interesting one for the handicaps and possibly even the Arkle, and it goes JLT. So clearly, Mr. Nichols thinks that this trip's going to suit him better than 2 Mile. What he's done so far is all handicap form. You read it and think it's not good enough, but actually, the more you sort of dig into it, I think the gap between handicap form and graded form this season isn't that great. I really don't. And last time out at Chepstow, when he gave a stone to Eamon Nanok, who was useful enough on his day, and got beaten about 3 lengths by him, and he was sort of, the way that he sort of was a bit one pace late on in the day, he was sort of just plugging on at it. He's sort of worth a go here over 2.5. He's interesting. The worry is that he won't stay, but if Mr. Nichols thinks he'll stay, then that's good enough for me. They'd be the sort of interesting pair in there, but really it's a very tough race. Very tough race, the JLT tomorrow. Second race is the Potemps. I've already made mention 2 or 3 times on the punt, and I did a piece last week when we were going through the handicaps where I sort of said I thought First Assignment had a really good chance in this. I think the fact that it's just going to dry up a little bit over the next sort of day or two. There's showers, but no more than that, and the wind will dry it a little bit. He's very much in First Assignment's favour. Without sort of reiterating the case again, I think he still looks pretty well handicapped on a marker 142. You look at his Haydock form when he was third to Paisley Park and Shades of Midnight. Paisley Park now favourite for the stay. Shades of Midnight went on, won a Grade 2 after that. Has already got Cheltenham form, panned Boyhood here. in November off a mark of 130, and he just came right away in the end. And that's not his first Cheltenham victory either. So he likes the track. I think the ground will be okay for him. He does act on soft, by the way. He won it on soft ground at Huntingdon last year. It wasn't what you would call desperately soft, but it was certainly soft. So I don't think the ground will be an issue. He's had a short break. He still looks very well handicapped. He's got plenty in his favour, I think, and he'd be my first pick for the race. As a second pick, though, it's a pity Sykes isn't here. I thought Sykes would run a good race, but I think for the second pick it has to be Sambera Shuja, who has now really got his act together with some terrific jumping. It's his jumping that's won him his last 2 races. It's sort of shown enough to win novice hurdles and maiden hurdles, but was possibly a little bit disappointing a couple of times. But his 5th at Warwick to Birchdale, that couldn't be working out much better. There's been no end of winners out of that race, and since then all he's done is improve. He's improved with every run. He's now on a mark of 136. That gets him right in here in the bottom end. He's just an improving horse. He handles undulating tracks. He won't mind the ground. Again, I think he's going to go pretty close. If you're looking for something at a whopping price, I did give consideration to Champagne on Ice, who we hadn't seen for 2 years before coming out at Haydock, and ran 4th to Sykes that day. They made him favourite because he was well handicapped. He's been dropped another pound, but I'm just struggling to be with anything that David Pipe's training again at the moment. He seems to have gone a little bit off the boil again. And that's the worry with Champers on Ice. But he has got form here. The faster they go up from, the better he'll be. But he's, as I say, the trainer form is something of a concern, I have to say. Moving on onto the Ryanair, one of my hopefully best bets of the week here, I think, in Road to Respect, who is in the right race for me here. Again, there's talk of the Gold Cup. I don't think what he is, Road to Respect, I think he's basically a 3-miler that wants a fast run, sort of 2.5, 2.5, and he's going to get that here. This will be ideal for him. Look at his form this season. It's all one. It's great Grade 1 form. And, Grade 1 form should win Grade 1 races, in my opinion. 3rd at Bellshill at Punchestown. He's 4th in, don't forget, he was 4th in the Gold Cup last season for a start. He only got beaten 12 lengths by Native River. And since then, he's run to a really good level. He's run to he's run to 170 twice, according to the Racing Post ratings, when second to Bellshill last time, and at Down Royal in November. Every bit of his form stacks up. Ground, fine, not a problem again. Just going to dry out a little bit for him. He'll get this run to suit. I think he's got a really, really first class chance. When you look at some of the others, I am very, very much against Footpad here. I have to say, I'm going to be taking Footpad on in all possible manners. I just don't see he gets this trip. That's my worry. He just isn't going to get 2-4, especially in testing. He might get 2-4 on on decent ground, but I don't think he's going to get 2-4 tomorrow. I really don't. So I'm very much against him. I'm going to be taking him on, and hopefully Road to Respect, as I say, one of my sort of better bets of the week, should be able to prevail. The Stayers. I've got a massive opinion on the Stayers. More look at the race, the more I sort of you initially want to sort of take on Paisley Park because you think is that Grade 1 form, and it is and it isn't, and I just can't quite work out exactly where we are with the form here. There's no doubt Paisley Park's an improving horse. That's not under question, and he's got Cheltenham form and he'll act on the ground, so he's got 3 ticks in boxes for them. But he's short enough, and I wanted to take him on, but I don't know what to take him on with, to be perfectly honest with you. As I say, it's race. I don't know at the moment. I've not really got a massive opinion on. I suppose if you gave me a 5 at the moment, it'd probably be either Super Sunday or Kilbrick and Storm. I think Kilbrick and Storm's a little bit of a forgotten horse. Last season's Albert Bartlett win. He's just not really taken to fences, but I could see him running a better race back over hurdles with ground to suit. And similarly with Super Sunday, who, second to Penhill last year. Was last year's race a better race than this year's? Again, I'm probably a little bit, but not much. So if Super Sunday can reproduce that sort of form, there's no reason he shouldn't be on the premises. He saw the back end of Apple's Jade last time, who was, I have to say, very, very disappointing yesterday. I thought Apple's Jade was a Probably the bet in the Champion Hurdle, she was most disappointing. But anyway, that's by the by now. You know that Super Sunday will run to a solid enough level each time and should be on the premises. But, again, let me reiterate, I've no massive opinion on the race at the moment, and I'm sort of happy to pass it over for betting purposes. And the Brown Advisory, well, there's 2 or 3 in here that deserve some sort of a mention. Spirit of the Games, I think, is the first one, with Dan Skelton. Got his ideal conditions here, really, I think. Good third to Kildisart. I think that's a very, very classy handicap last time when he was third here. That's not his only bit of Cheltenham form. He was 5th to stablemate Mahayad in the county hurdle last year, and he was sort of plugging on away at the finish there. And the trip's ideal for him. He'll get this run to suit. And the way that he popped around Chepstow earlier in the season, I was quite impressed that day, actually. That was the first time over fences. He looked a little bit of a natural at the game. I think Spirit of the Games is probably my sort of number 1 pick. Calandra is undoubtedly well handicapped still, but there's just a lot of worries with Calandra. The way that Calandra is going to be ridden, which will be put to sleep at the back, you're relying on luck for a start. There's going to be a lot of luck involved from there. Anything falls in front of you and you're stepping over that, it's going to be game over. We've seen that already yesterday, that horses that, if you're going to be a hold-up horse, you're going to need some luck in running. And Calandra, jumping isn't always great. Absolutely no doubt that the horse is very well handicapped, and at some point it's going to drop back in again. It may be tomorrow. It may be tomorrow. He's run well off a break before as well. He's been off since last November. Probably saved with this in mind, in truth, and the mark they've kept the mark. And the other one that made a bit of a appeal was Ballyhill. I know Nigel Twiston-Davies was sort of talking up his chances a little bit at Waits Day a couple of weeks ago, and you sort of see why he is nicely handicapped on the best of his hurdles form these days. 142 is a fair mark. Just never really quite happened for him over fences. I don't think he did win a couple of races, but I think he seems happier back over hurdles, and I can see him running a decent race, because he's another one that's just got plenty of Cheltenham form to his name, and the ground will be ideal and trip will be fine. But I think my number 1 pick would be Spirit of the Games for the race at the moment. Mayor's Novice, pass. Not really very interested. I sort of want to take Epatante on again. I don't think her form is all that, but I'm not really going to be digging into the race with a lot of detail. I don't like Mayor's races at the best of times. Mayor's hurdles and Mayor's Novices just, they drive me up the wall, because something just often improves from left field that you can never see where it's coming from, and I don't like races like this. Again, if you're desperate, and if you really are desperate for a bet in the race, I might suggest Indefatigable of Paul Webber's, who second to Lady Buttons last time at Doncaster, and before that second to Posh Trish. Those 2 runs sort of mark her out as an improving sort, really, and she might have a little bit more to come, you would hope. Gavin Sheehan takes the ride. I don't think the track will be a problem. She should run an each way sort of race, but again, listen, it's not my sort of a contest. That's all I have to say. And however, the Kim Muir most certainly is my sort of a contest. Amateurs ploughing a field for the best part of 3.5 miles is right up my street, and I quite like one here, actually, with the rain that's come, and it's a big prize too, and it's an old friend of mine. It's Perfect Candidate in Fergal O'Brien's yard. He looked gone at the game up until that last run, but I say gone at the game, I mean he'd been off a mark for the best part of 12-14 months that he couldn't possibly win off, after he duffed up Vincente, and that was really sort of game over for him for the time. They've had to sort of be very patient and wait for his mark to come back down to something a bit more realistic. He's off 140 tomorrow. That's more than realistic, I think. All this horse does is stay. The softer the ground, the better. So another couple of showers, please. Tomorrow afternoon would be absolutely ideal. And that form now got beat 13 lengths behind Beware the Bear last time. Hello, that looks a little bit better than it did at the time. This horse you can get at the moment, and I do know this because I've already bet the horse. Well, certainly last night I bet it at 40 to 1. I think that is too big. I honestly think that's too big. This will be a horse that's plugging away when others have long cried enough here, and if they can get him into a bit of rhythm, he's susceptible to the odd mistake, even at his old age. You'd think he'd know better. But I think if Brodie Hampson can get him into a rhythm towards the front end, I think he's got a chance of running really well here at a whopping price. I like his chances, I really do. I'm just trying to get prices up for tomorrow, guys. Just bear with me one sec. Here we go, Thursday's prices. If he's still around about 40 to 1, then I do think, as I say, I do think he's a bet. Cheltenham Cross is the other interesting one in the race while I'm waiting for it to load up after that Ludlow victory last time. But he's a bit more sort of well-found than a few of these. Perfect candidate, 40 to 1 across the board. Listen, some firms are going to be going 5-6 places on this. One already is. Hills are going 5. Wait for the prices to go up. Take 6 places if you can for perfect candidate. Anything around about sort of 30, anything 33 to 1 and above. I can see this being backed. I actually can see the old boy being backed tomorrow. People will start to look at the form and go, hang on, 30 Beware the Bear, that suddenly looks a lot better than perhaps it did at the time. And he would be one of my 2 sort of bets, proper bets tomorrow. Him and Road to Respect are the 2 that I've already bet. And First Assignment, I should say, I've backed Anti-Post as well, but you know, that's not tomorrow. So there we go. That's my Thursday preview. Hopefully there's a winner or 2 in there. Hopefully perfect candidate at a big price. That would be rather nice. Enjoy the rest of Wednesday. I'm off to Huntingdon shortly to go and get wet, and should be good fun. See you for Fridays. Bye bye.